When I earn an MBA from UCLA, and again when I work for Morgan Stanley, my father accuses me of pursuing goals that society projects onto me. I tell him I pursue success because it makes me feel like a winner. He insists that I approach life more humbly, which I find ironic because he aspires to save the world. I avoid arguing with him, though, because of my fear of his morality bombs. Like one time, my friend and I were kids fighting over this toy rubber band gun. I made it out of this long stick, clothespin, and duct tape. My dad returns from work, sees us fighting over this rubber band gun. He grabs it, slams it on his knee, and breaks it in two. He walks up the steps leading to our back door, looks to his right over the railing, and sees a trash can below him on the driveway. This toy my friend and I were fighting over, he slams it into the trash can, shoots me a look of disappointment, and disappears into his house with a bang made by the screen doors slamming shut behind him. That's a morality bomb. He communicates a moral truth, toys aren't worth fighting over, and he delivers it with ruthlessness that explodes my head and leaves no room for debate. Another reason I find it hard to argue with him is because of the way others treat him. People tell me, your father's great, your father's great, your father's great. He's a missionary from Japan. The suffering he experiences during the firebombing of Tokyo inspires in him an intense sense of purpose. He's sent to America by the founder of his religion to spread the practice of channeling Jorei. Jorei is spiritual energy from God that's going to save the world. That's why I find it ironic when he tells me to be more humble, because through Jorei, he aspires to save the world. He has unshakable faith that he has the backing of God. Everyone around me treats him as if he has the backing of God, and his purpose is inspired by great suffering. His faith, purpose, and community lend to him moral authority that discourages me from ever rebelling or contradicting or even ignoring him. That, plus I'm afraid of his morality bombs, one of which he treats me to while driving him to the airport. I switch lanes several times to find the fastest one. He says, "Better to arrive safely than early." Then some car cuts me off. I swerve and curse, "Damn idiot." My father closes his eyes. He breathes in deep. He looks at me. "When you become angry toward as a driver, how they respondo?" "I don't know." "If you become happy toward as a driver, how they respondo?" "I don't know." "Whether you respond angry or happy, as a driver respondo nothing. Why not to choose happy?" I'm frustrated how demanding he is, but what can I say? I'm not going to say I choose unhappy. Plus, he tells me to be civil to the other driver, not for the sake of the other driver, but for mine. There's no way to argue back. His moral truth explodes my head and leaves no room for debate. Morality bomb. Attending boarding school on scholarship redirects my life. I live in a dorm with the progeny of the founders and inventors of Firestone Tire, Jell-O, the hydrogen bomb, and the man who in the 1960s, according to Time magazine, is the richest in the world. In public school, I read The Grapes of Wrath, which makes me fault business leaders as heartless. In boarding school, I read Atlas Shrugged, which makes me admire them and want to become one. In history class, I read about American exceptionalism, Americans' divine right to greatness. We watch in class, live on TV, the embodiment of that ideal, President Reagan, who electrifies a nation when he asserts at his inauguration, "Americans unleash the energy and individual genius of man more than anyone else. We have the right to dream the dreams of heroes. The Lord does great things for us, and we are glad." After my boarding school graduation, I attend the after party held at the Getty Museum in Malibu. I'm still in my tuxedo when I arrive home. I tell my father, there was this big statue of the Greek god Atlas, like the statue we saw in New York when visiting the Jorway Center there. I was standing underneath it shoulder to shoulder with famous business leaders. Beware, money is false dreams that society tell you to follow. Dad, Bo Derek was there. Do not be slave to culture. How does he know my dreams? He misses my Little League games, he misses my middle school graduation, and now I'm heading off to college and he thinks he can tell me what my dreams are? A few years later, I'm applying for MBA school at UCLA. He asks me, why you go MBA school? Do not be seduced by society's values. How do you know what my values are? Your sports car enslave you to culture. Money is dreams that society tell you to follow. What's wrong with being successful? I like the feeling it gives me. Focus your life to help people. Later, when I work for Morgan Stanley, he repeats to me, don't be a slave to culture. Focus my life to help others. Things seem to improve when I work for Hewlett-Packard. My parents like HP's collaboration-oriented culture, but when I return to the financial industry, my father's ashamed of me. I'm standing right next to him. He tells his new neighbors I work for HP, even though I don't. I ask him about it later. Why'd you tell your neighbors yesterday I work for HP? So ka. Why you become stockbroker? I told you, I'm a financial advisor, not a stockbroker. When stockbroker call us, he make money, not us. I'm not a stock jockey like you had. Too much you follow money. Why don't you follow teachings? Your teachings make me feel like a failure. Failure? You are blessed by God your whole life. You are not a failure. Your teachings are too idealistic, like accumulate hidden virtue. Who can do that? I show you by my example. While you tell me be humble, you have this huge ambition. No. You want to save the world. I focus to help one person at a time. You help people for your glory, not theirs. He closes his eyes. He breathes deep several times, his eyes open. Do you know story of 47 samurai? Yeah? Why 47 samurai willing to sacrifice their life for their dead lord? Loyalty? But their lord is already dead. I don't know. Culture? Yes, culture. Bushido culture. Why Bushido culture tell samurai that dying for a road is greatest samurai honor? Road come up with ideas that dying for a road is greatest samurai honor. Road of Bushido culture also find Buddhist poem about death. Road tell samurai to meditate on death, so samurai do not fear death when rushing into battle. Why do you think Road teach samurai to not fear death when rushing into battle? Why do Road teach samurai that dying for Road is greatest samurai honor? Not for the benefit of samurai, for the benefit of Road, so Road win more money and land. Who influence culture? Not me, not you, no. Influence culture is Road and the king. Powerful influence culture. Today's society, Lord of culture who used to be king and lord, replaced by advertiser of your fancy car who tell you what to buy for their benefit, not yours. And politician who tell you to buy their vision of who you are for their benefit, not yours.